some people fail science, especially physics, not because they have not, they do not have concepts which they can use to actually come up with a correct answer, but because of not knowing how to actually answer the questions, the procedure or the guide, how can they start answering different particular questions, and because of that they actually fail to come up with the correct answers. So that is what I want us to actually learn. I want to give you a full guide on how to actually answer physics questions. How to answer physics question. What is the first thing you need to do whenever you are handling a certain question in physics? So please make sure you watch this video up to its end, and make sure you actually subscribe to my YouTube channel. On this channel, we do not only learn physics, we learn chemistry, biology, and also mathematics. So make sure you subscribe, and also don't forget to click on the notification button so that whenever I upload a new video, you get to know. Whenever I upload a new video, turn on your notification so that whenever I upload a new video, you get to know. So how do we answer physics questions? How can you answer physics questions? If you have been given a certain question, how can you answer physics questions? So this is a guide, a comprehensive guide, and I'm sure at the end of it all, physics will become a simple subject to you. So make sure you watch it. Make sure you watch up to its end. So I'm going to give you a full guide. So let's say, for example, you have been given, let me talk about the first point. Okay, let's say, for example, you have been given a certain question. So what is important? What you need to understand is that physics has got main formulae, and that you need to know. Because I can say, if I want to calculate the force, I can use this formula. Work is equal to force times what? Times distance. I can calculate force using this formula. If work is given, and also distance is given. Also, I can use this formula to calculate what? To calculate force. Force is equal to mass times what? Times acceleration. Have you seen? If I want to calculate distance. If I want to calculate distance, I want to show you that physics has got many formulae, and because of that, you need to understand these concepts. These points I'm going to give you for you to actually to be coming up with the correct answers during your final examination, during the times of the test. I want to calculate distance. I can use the same formula. Work is equal to force times distance. I can use this formula, which is the kinematic formula, which is distance is equal to initial velocity times time plus half acceleration times time squared. Have you seen? You'd find that there are many formulae I can use just to calculate what? To calculate distance. And because of that, that is why most of the people get confused. And they eventually actually give a wrong answer. So now, how do we handle questions, knowing that physics has got many formulae, and how do we handle questions? So the first step, whenever you see any question, you have been given unless it is a diagram. But after a diagram also, there are some questions down there. Mainly after they have given you a certain diagram, they tend to write some questions. So the first thing you need to do is to correct. Make sure you get somewhere where you'll be writing these points. You correct the data. Let me write it in capital letters so that you can see the importance. So you need to collect the data. Please make sure whenever you have seen a question, despite that question is confusing you, correct the data. What is the main importance of collecting the data? So this data, the way it is, after you have collected the data, you write data, then maybe work is equal to force is equal to, then distance is equal to, assume you are actually putting some figures. Acceleration is equal to Yes, assume you have been given some figures. So what is going to happen is that upon seeing what you have been given, it will be very easy for you to come up with a formula. I hope you are getting it. It will be very easy for you to come up with a formula. So upon looking, maybe they have taught you to actually calculate the distance. Yes, they have told you to calculate the distance, and then this is the data which have been given. So if you actually write this data, it is going to be very easy for you to come up with what? With a formula, because you are going to see what you have been given, and what you have been given is what is going to direct you, or is what is going to show you which formula are you going to do what to use. I hope I've gotten that. So that is the first point. Correct the what? The data. Then the second point, which is very, very important and which is crucial. The second point, you need to write different formulae. Write different formulae. Write different formulae. So let's say, for example, you have been taught to calculate distance. In this case, the example which I'm using. So what we are going to do is that, get me, please, I want you to get me clearly. I do not want you to be getting wrong answers in physics. No, I do not want you that. I do not want you to be giving wrong answers. I want you to start giving correct answers. And if you be following this guide, I'm telling you, physics will be a simple subject to you. So, which formula are you going to concentrate? Since you have said, is it that you need to write all the formulae? Because there are many formulae in physics. There are more than 200. Is it that you need to write all those 200 different formulae? No, that is not what I'm actually saying. So what I'm saying that, based on the question which have been asked, if you have been taught to calculate work, write all the formulae which actually involve work. Let's say, for example, work is equal to, this is a formula we normally use to calculate work. Work is equal to force times distance. Have you seen? But even power is equal to work over what? Over time. Have you seen? So now, since you have collected the data, here, you have collected the data. Based on the formula which you have written, you are going to see, according to the data which have been given, which formula am I going to use? If you have been given force and distance, then it means I'm going to use this same formula. But in a case whereby I have been given power and time, it means that simply means I'm going to use this formula. For me to calculate power, work, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make work the subject, the formula, and I'm going to use it. Work is equal to power times time. I don't know if you're getting it. That is very, very important. Whenever I've been taught to calculate and to actually solve any question in physics, if you just follow these steps, I'm actually giving you, it will be very easy for you to come up with it, to be coming up with correct answers. So that is what we normally do. And then what is very important, you may be doing all these correctly, but maybe just because of actually writing the symbols, you are making some mistakes. Are you getting it? So, if a certain symbol, if a certain unit, or maybe, let's say, for example, work, in a case of work, we write work is written in, okay, let me give you a good example which is very simple and straightforward. Okay, let me give you force. Force is given by F, this F. This F is a capital letter, F-E, which I've written. So now, if you make a mistake, you write a small letter. What are you writing? This is the frequency. Have you seen? So, if you do this, force is equal to M times A. You are going to find that it will be very difficult for an examiner to understand, because this is frequency, of course. This is frequency. And you cannot find force using frequency. That is very impossible. And others tend to, maybe you have just written well, force in a capital letter, You have used a calculator. You have written it in this way. Maybe you write force is equal to, but when you write in mass, you do this and then you write this. Have you seen? So I guess you can a certain person who has written this, you can even laugh at that particular person. So this is not mass. This is not a symbol for mass. No. So that is another mistake which most of the pupils tend to do. When you have been taught to say, okay, this one, this, let's say for example, velocity. Velocity is the symbol for velocity. The symbol for velocity. The symbol for velocity is a small letter v. So if you make a mistake, you write a capital letter V. What you need to understand is that each and every letter in physics has got its own meaning. So this is what? This is volts. These are voltages. These are voltages. Have you seen? So you need to be very, very careful in terms of writing what? In terms of writing symbols. And then, in terms of writing units, if a certain quantity has got its own unit, let's say for example, in the case of force, the unit, SI unit for force is what? Newtons. So do not make a mistake by writing a small letter. No. Maybe you want to actually you are finding current. The SI unit for current is what? Amps. So do not make a mistake of writing this, because this is acceleration. Have you seen? So that is what you need to know. Whenever you are answering physics questions, you need to pay particular attention to these points which I've highlighted. These are very, very important points, in such a way that they have made some people who can pass physics to fail. Who can pass physics to do what? To fail. You can have a data. You can have a data which you can use to pass your science exam. But due to the fact that you are not applying these concepts, you would find that it will be very difficult for you to pass. So the third point, you need to know that you need to be use correct what? Letters. Use correct letters. If it means you are actually you are calculating force, use F capital letter. Do not use small letter, because this is frequency. If it means you are calculating, let's say for example, you are calculating let's say for example you are calculating acceleration. Acceleration is represented by a small letter. Do not use a capital letter, because this is amps. I hope you are able to see what I'm trying to talk about. So these points are very necessary. The fourth one, make sure you use correct what? SI units. Make sure you use correct SI units. If it means you are calculating, let's say for example you are calculating voltage, make sure you write, if it is 2 volts which you have calculated, make sure you write a capital letter. Do not write like this. Even if you can check in books, you are going to find that a letter which is a capital letter is going to have the height just the same as the number, the figure. Have you seen? But immediately you just write this, then this is wrong. Have you seen? So make sure, if it means you are writing a small letter, if you are writing 10, if it is a capital letter 10 newtons, write 10 newtons like this. Not you write something like this, or I don't know if it is because of the exam fever, you start writing something like this. This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong. Make sure you write it properly. And then if you are writing a small letter, let's assume you are calculating velocity. You are calculating velocity. If you are calculating velocity, if you find that your velocity is maybe 20 meters per second, have you seen the way I've written it? This is a small letter and this is a small. Do not make a mistake of writing 20 meters per second. No, this is very wrong. So you need to pay particular attention to the what to what you are writing, to how you are writing your SI units. Very, very important. So I've talked about 4 important points. The first one, you need to correct the data. And whenever you see a question, correct the data. And then the second one, after you have corrected the data, if you have been told to calculate the distance, make sure you write as many as possible. You write as many formulae as possible, which involves where actually distance is involved. Let's say, for example, I gave you a certain example where I can use work, because I know that in this formula distance is found. Work is equal to force times distance. Also I can use this one. Also I can use that one, the other one, v squared is equal to u squared plus 2ax. Have you seen? I can use this one. Distance is equal to ut plus half at squared. Have you seen? Then based on the data which you have corrected, you are going to see to say, okay, the formula which is going to be appropriate is this one or this one or that one. Have you seen? So that is the second thing. Then the third thing, make sure you use correct letters. You use correct letters. Make sure you use, if it means you are using a capital letter, use a capital letter. If force is represented by a capital letter F, make sure you use a capital letter F. If velocity is represented by a small letter v, just make sure you use a small letter v. If acceleration is a small letter, make sure you use a small letter. Then lastly, make sure you use appropriate units. Appropriate units. So if you are writing a capital letter, make sure you write it in such a way that even the examiner can see that, okay, this is a capital letter, this is 2 volts. Have you seen? So this is how we deal with physics. This is the guide on how to actually be handling physics questions easily. If you follow these procedures, I'm telling you, physics will become very easy, very simple for you. Alright, so we can end here. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also don't forget to actually put a like and a comment if this video is very helpful. I will actually upload a certain video where I'll be teaching you how to actually master physics formula, because there are many, as I was saying. So I want to actually upload a video teaching you how to master those formulae. So make sure you put a like and a comment. And also I've created a YouTube channel. So for you to access that, I mean not a YouTube channel, I have created a WhatsApp group. For you to access that group, just inbox me using 0976, okay, 0976 97 58 98, 0976 97 58 98. Then on Facebook, please make sure you follow me on Facebook for any updates. Make sure you just search Mr. Distinctions. Mr. Distinctions, and you are going to find my page there. Just make sure you click on the like button, then you actually follow me on the follow button. You start following me for any updates. So this is what I add for you. I hope you have enjoyed my video. Otherwise, goodbye.